a song by its duration or by the number of its notes. Judge it by how it lifts and touches the soul.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 action film Sunray, Fallen Soldier. The film is co-written and directed by James Clarke and Daniel Shepherd, and it stars Tip Cullen, Tom Leigh, Luke Solomon, Stephen Blades and Nicholas Clark. Now the film follows Tip Cullen's character Andy, who is a former Royal Marine. He is struggling to cope with civilian life. He is divorced. He's got a daughter. And this one particular night, his daughter goes out to a party, takes some bad drugs, and essentially overdoses and dies. Andy then vows to get revenge on those that have caused the death of his teenage daughter. So he goes on a one-man revenge tour to take them out. Eventually his former comrades from the Royal Marines get involved and support him as it starts escalating out of control. Right, what are my thoughts on Sunray, Fallen Soldier? Well, one of the big selling points for this film is that it advertises that it was kind of devised and starring former Royal Marine commandos. And from kind of looking at some of us, about 2 or 3 people in the film who used to be in the Royal Marines, and it's, obviously they've kind of come up with the idea and stuff, I'm guessing. So it's got that kind of going for it. You would think that it would give the film more realistic edge in regards to the military style of the film, and actually I'm going to say it doesn't. This actually is quite a generic, unoriginal kind of action film. The action is handled well, but they don't really make an attempt here to ground this thing in reality or anything like that. It's a simple revenge tale at the end of the day. It helps you to get invested in this character of Andy, who essentially, like I say, he's completely all alone. He's got no one anymore. He's divorced. Like I say, he adores his daughter, and then she dies, which sends him over the edge to go after these people, sort of thing, and use his military experience and skills to take them out. And there's some pretty interesting action scenes that are quite brutal here and there. There's a scene where he initially starts taking revenge. He turns up at this place with a nail gun and starts going a bit crazy with a nail gun on people, which is, quite interestingly done. But beyond that, it feels a little bit disjointed because the film starts in a particular way that kind of doesn't make sense, that it returns to later in the film, so it turns out that was a kind of a flashback sort of thing. But all these people in the film who obviously are his ex-comrades from the Royal Marines and stuff like that, there's definitely there's camaraderie there between them and sort of thing, and they kind of follow him without question, which is pretty good, sort of thing. And the action is set in such a way that it is certainly very, very watchable. It's just, beyond that, it doesn't offer a great deal. It's kind of shallow in many, many ways. However, the last 10 or 15 minutes of the film and the climax of the film itself, it kind of flips it, and there's a twist. Quite a nice twist that I'll be honest, I didn't personally see coming, and it added a whole new layer to the film. And it's one of those films where when you get the ending, you kind of like, oh, I need to rewatch this now, I think. And that for me elevated the film quite a lot, because it actually puts a different flavour to the film. Some of the flashbacks that you've seen in the film when they're working as a Royal Marine unit abroad in Afghanistan, I think it is. It puts a different perspective on those flashbacks that you see in. It puts a different perspective on many of the scenes that you've seen in the film. Because early on there was a couple of scenes, one scene in particular, and you kind of, I'm trying to say as little as possible because I don't want to spoil it, but you're kind of thinking, hang on a minute, how did he get out of that? Or how did that happen? So you're kind of writing it down as a criticism, but then it all makes sense later on when this kind of twist is revealed. So yeah, it's quite a solemn film. It's not uplifting or anything. It's not one of those fast-paced, tongue-in-cheek action films that's going to kind of keep you on the edge of your seat. It's nothing like that. It's no overly extravagant action scenes. It's a UK-based film, so you know it's almost got like that. I don't know, that Alan Bennett feel to it at times. You know what I mean? Quite a dark film. There are some scenes as well. It tries to get a little bit too thoughtful at times, I think, for its own good, because you've got people in the film who I think are the ex-Royal Marines, and there's a couple of scenes and they're kind of talking retrospectively about their time in the military, and they're telling these very dark stories and stuff, and they don't come off as they should. For you know, if it's an established performer doing those scenes, they could kind of, you know, put a bit of flavour and charisma and layer it and all that kind of stuff. When you've got an ex-Royal Marine, if you like, telling this story, who has moved into acting but is not what you would describe as an overly talented actor, probably, it doesn't come off the same for me. So that some of like the military stories didn't exactly land for me, and there was one character in particular that I just didn't connect with. He just felt like a caricature of a soldier sort of thing, which seemed odd because I suspect he was probably used to be a Royal Marine. They probably would have been better playing themselves. Maybe they did. Who knows? So I mean, it's a little bit different, this one, because it's not a traditional action film. It's not trying to be. There is a message in there somewhere if you can kind of be asked to kind of dig through the layers of everything. But excuse me, at the very, very core of this, it's a simple revenge tale that they've kind of tried to overcomplicate and turn the film into almost like a drama here and there. And so I think they've kind of tried to overcomplicate what should have been a very, very simple story. But I didn't dislike the film at all. It's worth checking out if you like these military style films that are relatively grounded, but just don't go into it with massively high expectations, and hopefully you will enjoy it to some degree and maybe enjoy the twist at the end. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.